Okay, then we are all set. Can put your mobiles on silent, maybe. So, I'll start by introducing Bala right away. So, you may have all, that some sort of an introduction that I've already put out. But maybe I'll start with some statistics. I think that is something, that usually people can remember as well. So, Bala's application, Startup Bala, on Android Play Store was #1 in the business category for quite some time. And in 2017, his company was the one with the highest IPR applications, and he has till now, registered and held more than 8,500 companies. So that's like, I think, more than 20-30 companies every day. So I think we have a man who probably we can grind pretty nicely today and get all things out of him. So, why not we plunge in right in? So, Bala, I think better introduction would be from yourself itself. So, I would like to start. We'll go in a, chronological way. So, would you like? Yeah, okay.
So, you know my name and the organization which I represent. I have been informed by Ayush that this particular program, which is powered by Google, is a bit different from the normal events and conferences which we normally attend. And the first question whenever I am approached by somebody to speak at an event, I always ask that what is the category of people who are going to come and what is the number basically. So till date, wherever I have gone, I have been addressing 200, 300, 100. Kind of a mistake. But then Ayush took time and he came to my place and he explained what Startup Grind does. And there I understood that the kind of people I'm going to address today are a different kind of audience than whom I have been addressing. And after your introduction, I'm a bit nervous that whether I'm going to justify being a guest here or I would be better justified if I'm here to learn from your experiences. Before I start myself, I want to thank Manjula. She has been a dear friend, my service provider, as well as PR and media services at Princeton. I have met in my journey many entrepreneurs and vendors and service providers who happen to come to you for some kind of service, and once that process is over, we lose connect. But with Manjula, it is like she came in and she has become part of our journey, even though we don't meet every day. But wherever there is a possibility that I can get exposed to or I can learn from, she introduces me to those places. And Startup Grind is a fantastic program to be part of. When I was sitting outside, I was asking him, what is the meaning of this grind? And why this grind word is input up? He said that when we call upon a person, we try to grind that person so that what juice comes out of it is more important than the numbers which he has given here. These numbers may keep on increasing or at times maybe stable or come down. But what I've learned during my journey is what I'm going to share with you, and I want you all to be part of that particular journey going forward. And I can identify a few service providers whom I can get connect with. And one way, Nikita, I was part of one event and she was a part of the audience there. And she said something, and then I said, let us catch up. And she's designing our next level web app and mobile app. And that kind of connect was very important for me, and I'm looking forward to take home many service providers from this place. So from that way also I'm excited. I think Ayush has a lot of questions to ask. I want to ask myself a question that am I qualified to speak here as a guest? What is that, if at all, I have to give, which, if not as a learning for you, as a suggestion, as advice, as a sharing you can take with you, is that I started my entrepreneurial career at the age of 30. in India, if somebody starts in India, not only in India, anywhere in the world, if somebody starts at that small age, it is because of the scarcity of resources at your background. And my journey also started that way. And I come from a very humble background. Humble is equal to poor. You can note down this. So, if in future you hear this word, it is poor. And poor to the extent that till the age of 23, I and my family members, the number of 4, 5, we used to stay in 100 square feet of house, which is like, I would want you to understand what is 100 feet. It is like this. This is what is 100 feet, 100 square feet. Probably today my cabin is that much big or much bigger than that. It's not a very big deal, but I want you to understand, if you want to understand the story well, or if you want to grind me well, you need to know the background, you need to know the roots of the person whom you are interacting with. So 50% it was, this entrepreneurial journey was a curiosity, and 50% was a need or a necessity. From that day till now, I mean, probably I would be completing 25 years of my entrepreneurial journey by this April, next to next month. The first day income of mine was 80 rupees. I mean, the profit of mine was 80 rupees. I might have invested 550 rupees and the profit was 80 rupees, which Flipkart would be jealous of. Right? They have to compare their performance with my 25-year-old performance. So, after that, at one point in time, I realized that education is a very, very important tool for me to, if at all I want to understand and realize my potential. So, I took up education very seriously, and probably the whole entrepreneurial setup was to fund my education, even though my parents were very keen that I should complete my studies, and they were with me on my journey. I wanted to fund myself, so I'm a master's in commerce. I'm a practicing company secretary. Somebody is a chartered accountant here, so she can understand that it's not an easy job to crack this examination. And I'm a LLB. I'm a trained lawyer. I'm a trained corporate attorney. The most critical element of entrepreneurial journey is that we always feel that we are here to get something out of this venture, this journey. But what I've learned from childhood till date is only one thing, that entrepreneurship is expression of yourself. It is expressing yourself. It has nothing to do with impress anyone, neither your own self. No. So when we start, the first time when we start this, we always want to impress someone, probably our own self, or others, or the community, the people, children, or our future generation through the legacy which we want to pass on. So it's not the game of impression, that I realized very early on. It is a way of understanding your own self. It's a way of culminating your thought processes into a roller coaster ride and realize that, okay, I'm fit for this and I'm not fit for this. That's what this whole 25 years can be collectively being put to in words. I started this corporate venture 10 years before. Even though I was into business for 25 years, I have also worked for 8 years in between before I started this company called BMC Consultancy Services Private Limited, which is the parent company of Bala Nadar. So I worked for 8 years completely with one organization alone. And there is benefit of sticking to one organization, as well as there are demerits of sticking to the single most organization. But I loved that journey with the people whom I was working with, and probably when I wanted to start off my own, it was more of kind of an accident, because I was knowing that entrepreneurship is not to impress anyone, but to express myself, and whether I'm in a start of one more journey and whether I'm capable to take up that particular journey. So that was a mere kind of an accident, but then that accident turned out to be good because I used to think that business is a big deal, and that to a corporate organization, a private limited company. Uh, I thought during the start of my journey that you need to have a lot of business legacy, business background, or funds, or people, or resources which are more important for you, which you lack. And, but moreover, the kind of purpose for which you are going to start this. However, in last couple of years, I've realized that all these things are really very important. However, there are few things which are very critical for you to really start and start on the right direction, and that is the purpose behind what you're going to do. And don't take it on your shoulders or on your heads that purpose has to be there on the first day. As I told you, the entrepreneurial journey is a realization of your own self. And probably in first 5 months, 6 months, or 1 year, or 3 years, or 5 years, you are definitely going to hit upon that purpose which you want to achieve at the end of the day. When you will be living this whole life journey, at that point in time you realize a few very critical elements, and this journey is not to pass on something to other generation. This is to take with you something on those last days. This is a different thing than what we normally hear. We always think that we are going to do this for our family, our children, our next generation, or the generation of people who are going to come in this country or in this city or in this society. However, it is not so. I would be sharing my other experiences later on, but this whole discussion which I have started right now is to tell you that I'm not here to teach you any technicalities, any formulas, or anything which I feel is a big knowledge or so. I'm here to only express my thoughts. If you feel that those thoughts are relevant, those thoughts resonates with your thought process, you are free to take them. If you feel that you are not convinced with something, you can straight away reject it and leave it here itself. With this, I feel that we should give time to Ayush to ask me or grind me or whatever he wants to do. But I want this to be a two-way communication, because wherever I have went, it used to be a kind of FAQ session. People ask and then you just keep on speaking. I don't want this session to happen like that, because we have a lot of time and people have come passionately. This is a very close-knit kind of an event which I am experiencing, and I want that to be a learning experience for me. So I request you, I mean, there are very senior people, those who have worked with big organizations and who have been there in business for 10, 15, 20 years. And in front of you, I'm a very small person, basically. I think whatever income you earn in your big organizations, I may not be earning even 50% of that, even today. And I should be open for that, because there is nothing to hide, and I'm not here to impress anyone. If you get impressed, it is because you want to get impressed. Nobody is there to impress you. So with this, I hand it over to Ayush. Thank you so much.
So, okay, Bala, I think, you pretty much concised a lot, and throughout the session, I'll try to maybe pick some more pointers out of it. One more thing, as Bala mentioned, we'll keep ample time for you guys also to ask questions. So, keep your questions handy. We actually want that you are able to get all your questions answered.
And one more thing is, I have a PPT. First would be question and answer kind of a thing session. And then there would be a PPT of 1 hour, which would be divided into two things. One is that what are my lessons, which I have just mentioned, but if at all you have to take back, there has to be something which visually you can see here. And then startup legalities, a short 4 slides. Probably if somebody is here to have that information, that how you start a company and what is the legalities involved in it. So this is what the process is.
So I'll keep these parts for the PPT, and I'll probably, take more things around Startup Wala and how it all got started, and how it has been building such a successful company, probably number one in its category in India. So, Bala, would you like to explain more about Startup Wala and how did this idea come up to, and how it got inside?
I thought I would keep this story reserved for my 10th foundation day, and I have told this to my wife, Vanilla, who is the co-founder. But however, because this is a very close-knit kind of team with whom I am communicating. I know two of my colleagues, Tushar and Pranav, is here. So I wanted to keep this as a surprise for them, but then you are not going to tell this to anyone. So I said that I started my journey at the age of 13. So the kind of business which I was doing is very interesting. The business is that I used to buy sweets or biscuits and other things from the wholesaler, and I used to sell this to the retail organizations. And in Marathi we call it as feriwala. If you call it feriwala. So the startup wala origins from that feriwala word. And many people have asked me this, but I have never disclosed this because I wanted to disclose on the 10th Foundation Day event of mine. But then this is how this name word came into picture. When we started in the year 2006, the venture name was different. It was started accidentally with few of my friends who were into HR phase, people management and HR phase, and they wanted me to help them to set up this company. And then, usually this friendship kind of organization start like this. There were 25%, we are 25%, there are 25%, there are 25%. So they were very keen that I should also join them, so they gave me 25% and they said, okay, you are taking care of it. I said, fine, okay. And somewhere inside my mind, I was inclined towards entrepreneurship because I was used to that kind of a life. But then it went for 3 years, but if senior people who are there, they know that 2006 to 2009 there was a bubble which burst and the market was very, very deep into troubles and HR functioning could not work. However, I was parallelly running a corporate consulting firm within that organization, and then when they decided to shut down the company, I said I will move on with this. We started the company called BMC Consultancy Services in June 2009. So, since 2009, there were a few lessons which I learned from my previous venture, and I wanted to be very sure about certain things. Because the mistakes have been done, even though I was not the only reason for those mistakes, everybody was there. I always took upon myself that what is that I'm not going to repeat after that. So mistakes convert into learnings and knowledge and experience only if you don't repeat them. If you repeat them, they become blunders. Blunder is like mistake plus stupidity is called as blunder. So I never wanted things to become blunders for me. So I was very sure that business is about promise. Realize this, culminate this into your mind and understand. Business means promise. In one word, it is a promise alone, nothing more than that. The promise which you have made to yourself, the promise which you have made to others, outsiders. That may be your team members, colleagues, your family members, your customers, your government, anybody. It is a promise, that's it. When I realized that it is a promise, what is that I have, this previous organization has done wrong? So I listed some 10 things. Out of those 10 things, 3 were the most critical elements. One is, and that is going to be part of this whole PPT which I am going to share with. So I will not enter into it in deep. So these mistakes were blueprints for me to not commit again. From that day onwards till date, I'm very committed to those learnings which I have got from it. When we started, the service segment which we were supposed to choose was by default. You're a chartered accountant, somebody is an MBA, somebody might be a lawyer. Or the best part of all other people apart from this lady is that you come from a very new industry. You represent a very a decade-old phenomenon, technology or HR as a process or PR as a process or anything. You don't require a qualification to sign. You don't require a kind of tag on you which allows you to do your job. But unfortunately or fortunately for chartered accountants, company secretaries and lawyers and so on and so forth, guys who require their signature, architects, they are bound with what they are going to do for the next part of their life. In a way, initial stage we feel that this is a privilege given by the state to us. So we can sign and somebody is going to pay us for that certificate. However, according to me, it's a binding upon you. It's a pressure which you always hold. So I took 7-8 years to complete this professional course, and when it came in my hands, I was already 4 years old in my profession and my entrepreneurial journey. So I was in a dilemma now, because for 7-8 years I did entrepreneurship to fund this particular course so that I finished it. Now when that course is in my hand, now the realization is that, oh my God, I'm stuck now. What to do? So somehow I wanted to blend both of these things. And that's how this idea of online legal services came into picture. So we do online legal services only for startups and SMEs. Okay? If you ask me which are your 10 big clients, that is what I think Manjula had asked me in the first interview. I said there are none. There are none, and I'm very proud of it. It's not that we have not serviced clients. It is like we work with Jivame, we work with Telco, we work with state of government of Maharashtra, Archaeological Department of India is our client, Jammu and Kashmir Ministry of Tourism is our client. But then we have never gone to them to ask for business. Perhaps somebody in their department might have realized that there is a different way of getting this done faster than going to a conventional service provider. So they came to us. So we have worked with more than 150,000 startups all across India, starting from Jammu and Kashmir, Srinagar, to Kanyakumari, Shivaganga, which is the last station for railway for India. Every corner, Sikkim, Manipal, wherever, whichever city you call. My people can be, in a click of a button, they can give you 100 companies from every city of India. So, how did this started is that in 2008, I received a call from Bihar, some village near to Patna. And that was the time when we had launched our website. Website was very new in 2017. If not very new, it was initial stage of online processes. So I got a call from this guy and he said that, साहब आप मुंबई में रहते हो? हाँ, मुंबई में. आप company registration, private limited company बनाते हो. If somebody is from North India, from a background which is very humble, प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी बनाना बहुत बड़ा फैक्ट है. इधर पुणे में भी, इवन फॉर मेनी ऑफ यू, प्राइवेट लिमिटेड डायरेक्टर MD मीन्स बहुत बड़ी चीज होती है. सो दिस गाय कॉल्स मी एंड ही सेड दैट आई एम इन बिजनेस फॉर 10 years, बट नाउ आई वांट टू टेक दिस टू अ नेक्स्ट लेवल एंड आई डोंट हैव सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स इन माय एरिया. आई सेड पटना इज अ ठीक है, लेकिन साहब मैंने 2 लोगों को दिया था, 6 महीने उन्होंने दिया, 50,000 रुपये मेरे खर्च हो गए, पर कंपनी कुछ बना नहीं मिला और वो पर्सन मेरा फ़ोन भी नहीं उठा. ठीक है. तो एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So it's very difficult. I mean, company आप पुणे के अंदर के company बनाने को आपको 2 महीना लग जाएगा. So this guy calls me, and because being at an initial stage of your career, you don't want to miss even a single client. So I said, that guy, the words were very clear. Even today I can remember them very clearly. He said that, साहब आप मेरे को करके दोगे ना? करके दोगे means I am a company secretary and I am eligible to do this. He said, साहब मैं मुंबई के लोगों से इसलिए डील करना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि मुझे पता है वहाँ के लोग अच्छा काम करते हैं और हमारे यहाँ पे उस तरीके का अच्छा काम नहीं मिलता है. और मुझे ऐसा लगा कि वो अपने जेब में हाथ रखकर वो मुझे बोल रहा है कि आप मेरा पैसा लेके भाग तो नहीं जाओगे. And I realized that there is something which needs to be done in this particular field of service. Because I come from a background of big fours, kind of a company, where I have all my experience was dealing with foreign clients. Here suddenly I am realizing that somebody is in need of service and he feels that this service provider, the spectrum of service providers are not capable of servicing me. So that day I fixed my punchline as empowering entrepreneurship. And empowering entrepreneurship is a registered trademark all across all the classes. Nobody can even touch that. So I registered this in 2008. And I said the entrepreneurship means the real entrepreneurship. Not the hawa, fad, gambling kind of entrepreneurship. I will refer to the gambling word later. What is gambling in entrepreneurship? So I wanted startup and SMEs, that too from all the corners of the country. So once your dream and purpose is very clear, then you start accumulating resources. Then I said, आपका काम हो जाएगा, 30 दिन के अंदर हो जाएगा. I did not know how to do that, but then I get in touch with all those guys who can help me out in that process, and we incorporated his company on 29th day, which was a record during that time. I was not knowing that till that moment that दूसरे city का भी हम इतने कम समय में कर सकते हैं. पुणे का तो और कम समय में कर सकते हैं. Because of taking up that challenge, I realized that this can be done in a click of few buttons. Why not go for that journey? From there, we started slowly building the organization. A team of 2 people at the initial stage. Today, we are 100 plus members all across India. Office in 2 places in Bangalore and Pune. We started a square feet of 300 square feet of office. Within 4.5 years, we shifted to technology park kind of a setup, which is just next door here, which is 6,000 square feet of office. And I realized that on internet में दम है. 2007-8 में इंटरनेट में दम है. अगर तुम में दम है तो तुम कुछ भी कर सकते हो इंटरनेट के थ्रू. So then I learned digital marketing. I learned search engine optimization. I learned what it takes to have a good UI and UX, and probably that is the reason when I ask few things from Nikita, and when she says certain things to me, we can connect with each other very clearly, and that is how this whole journey had started. And in 2006, I said now that this is a time to launch startupwala.com. That was also accidental, but we had registered the Startupwala brand as well as the domain name in 2011 onwards. At that time, startup was not a crazy fashionable word which we are using right now. Never entrepreneurship was also not a very crazy word in those days. But then we knew that we want to connect with our clients. It's not legal. I have legalwala.com also as my brand. We are registered brand for Legalwala, but I wanted to launch Startupwala because I wanted to connect with my customers directly. So from there, the journey has been really very, very fast. People can connect with us easily. When we tell a story, it is very easy to connect for them, and the people know that we are on a with the right kind of people in the organization.
Would you like to tell a bit more on how these processes were set and how you created a team so that you are able to get let's say something at better speed at with better transparency which was lacking. So how all these things were set up and what were the challenges you faced?
There are only three things which I would want to touch upon. One is the adoption of technology, the getting of people, and third is marketing. Being a lawyer or a legal background, you cannot hear these words marketing and other things because law itself doesn't stop us from doing this. You cannot do marketing per se. However, marketing does not mean that advertisement and putting on hoardings and this and that. First, I will start with people. There is a PPT slide on that very clearly. People are very important. With this word, I will stop this here. If you don't have people who are aligned with your mission and purpose and who resonate with your whole journey, you are in a wrong company. Okay? And if you are going to attract people because you are able to pay more package, because you are India's number one company in a particular segment or so, that's not going to work. And that doesn't work in case of startups. We feel कि पैसा चाहिए तो I'm going to take a partner, founder. मुझे UI UX डिजाइन करना है तो I want a founding member. मुझे टेक्नोलॉजी में मुझे कुछ आता नहीं है तो I want a founding member on that. Let me tell you, this is a story which has been sold by VCs and PR guys and media guys. PR guys does not mean anyone. The story is sold by them very purposefully. That you need 4, 5, 6 guys from different department or line of services. That's foolish. If at all you want something, it is a mission, it is a purpose. And I will tell you, there is a formula for everything. Entrepreneurship is an art as well as science. So, art is something which comes from your roots, which comes from your social upbringing, your scarcities. And science is that once you understand a formula, you can apply that formula across the industry, anywhere and everywhere. So, I'm going to also deal with those formulas, even though I don't feel that I'm an expert in that, but that's my expression. So, अगर आपको कोई ये बोलता है कि तुम लॉ बैकग्राउंड से हो, तुमको टेक्नोलॉजी बैकग्राउंड का फाउंडिंग मेंबर चाहिए, तुमको मार्केटिंग का फाउंडिंग मेंबर चाहिए, तुमको पीआर का फाउंडिंग मेंबर चाहिए, तुमको इसका फाउंडिंग मेंबर चाहिए, उसका फाउंडिंग मेंबर चाहिए, he is fooling you. Either he does not know entrepreneurship, and I'm very opinionated at points, at times, because I care for those words and those statements. Indirectly what happens is, you don't have money to pay, hence you want a founding member. Second is, you don't know what to ask for. These are the only two reasons because of which you want a founding member. Try to digest these two things. If you know what to ask for, you can hire a guy and say that I want this, and I want in this manner. Now you put in your individual expertise, you put in your experience and get me to this place. And to get that guy, you need money in your pocket. ये दोनों चीजें अगर आपके हाथ में है, तो आपको किसी दूसरे आदमी को फाउंडिंग मेंबर करके लेने की जरूरत नहीं. And I'm very particular about why you should not have many founding members. The reason is because it is an expression of yourself. Entrepreneurship is expression of yourself. When two individuals come together, there are possibilities, there may be two expressions. And if they do not match, it is like a marriage. If they do not sacrifice, you are not there in the game for a longer period of time. And if you see in the history across for last 500 years of corporate business environment, you will find only one name at the top. Microsoft, Google, any organization. Only one name. Google में बोलोगे आप लैरी पेज है, ये है, वो है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. उसमें भी डिसीजन लेने वाला पर्सन जो है सिंगल पर्सन है. स्टीव जॉब्स एप्पल में है तो स्टीव जॉब्स ही है. इंडिया में अगर आप इंडिया को इकोनॉमिक सुपर पावर बनाना चाहते हो तो पावर एक ही आदमी के हाथ में होना चाहिए. डिसीजन मेकर एक ही होना चाहिए. वो एक पर्सन अच्छा होना चाहिए. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वो सेंसिबल होना चाहिए. अब 10 सेंसिबल लोगों को एक साथ लगा के देखिए. I think Sachidanand is not here. He would have been a better person. He manages people management and everything. So there are programs wherein you put in 10 top CEOs and 10 mild guys who take up directions very well. अगर आप बलून्स को बीच में इन 10 लोगों के बीच में रख के आप उनको बोलोगे कि अच्छे कोऑर्डिनेशन में चलना है, वो 10 का 10 आदमी अलग अलग कोऑर्डिनेशन में चलेगा. उसका वेवलेंथ ही अलग होता है और उसको मालूम होता है कि मैं एकदम करेक्ट कर रहा हूं. अब वो करेक्ट कर रहा है. 2 करेक्ट चीजें जो है एक साथ मिलेगी ऐसा नहीं. अगर आप ऑलरेडी पार्टनर्स के साथ काम कर रहे हो, ये कर रहे हो, और एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जो मैं ये बोल रहा हूं, ये रियलाइज जब होगा, तब अगर आप एक दूसरे के साथ झगड़ा करोगे, बोलोगे इसकी वजह से मैं हार गया, इसके वजह से मेरा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चल नहीं रहा है, मैं ज्यादा काम कर रहा हूं, तुम नहीं कर रहे हो, तुम्हारा क्या कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन है, ये है फलाना की तरह. आप सिर्फ इतना रुक के देखो कि आपका वो जो एक्सप्रेशन जो है एक डायरेक्शन में नहीं मिल रहा है और देयर इज अ टाइम टू सेपरेट. दैट्स इट. डोंट टेक इट पर्सनली. दिस हैज हैपेंड विद मेनी पीपल इन बिजनेस. इट हैज हैपेंड विद मी, इट हैज हैपेंड विद मेनी. हाउ यू हैंडल इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. 10 साल के बाद में आप उसी पर्सन को जाके मिलोगे तो आप एक दूसरे को मिलके हंसना शुरू करोगे. आप ज्यादा कुछ नहीं बोलोगे. थे मैंने मेरे करियर में देखा है. सो इट इज ओनली सिचुएशन. The situation was different. You yourself will utter these words. So the point here is, आप people management, employees, founding members, ये सारी चीजें करते समय एक चीज ध्यान में रखिएगा कि जितना सिंगल पर्सन या 2 पर्सन मैक्सिमम, उससे ज्यादा अगर कुछ रहा तो ज्यादा समय तक उस स्पीड के साथ भाग नहीं सकते. किसी एक का स्पीड रहेगा कि मैं 100 किलोमीटर के स्पीड में भागूं, एक का रहेगा 50 के स्पीड में भागूं, एक का 25 की स्पीड में भागो. हर कोई अपना अपना दौड़ लगा रहा है. दिस इज सेकंड थिंग इज टेक्नोलॉजी. टेक्नोलॉजी में प्रॉब्लम ये है कि कोई नया टेक्नोलॉजी आया तो हमें यू आर लाइक अट्रैक्टेड टू दैट टेक्नोलॉजी और यू आर टेम्प्टेड टू टेक अप एंड शो इम्प्रेस अदर्स दैट आई एम यूजिंग दिस टेक्नोलॉजी. सो ये इंप्रेशन वर्ड आपके पूरे जर्नी में से निकालो. आप खुद को कभी इंप्रेस कर ही नहीं सकते. आप दूसरे को कभी भी नहीं कर सकते इंप्रेस. अगर इंप्रेस करने की कोशिश करोगे तो यू आर अ फूल. आप अपने नेक्स्ट जनरेशन, आपके चिल्ड्रन को भी इंप्रेस नहीं कर सकते. इफ यू फील दैट थ्रू माई वेल्थ, एसेट्स एंड मनी आई एम गोइंग टू इंप्रेस माई नेक्स्ट जनरेशन, ऑलवेज कीप इन माइंड you cannot earn enough which your next generation cannot earn in 5 years of their career. आपने कितना भी एसेट एक्यूमुलेट किया, अगर वो पर्सन इक्वली आपके इतना ही कॉम्पिटेंट रहा, नो मैटर हाउ स्मार्टली और हाउ हार्डली यू हैव earned this money, you are not going to tell the story of money that I earned so much to your child and impress him or her. Because that person knows, because of the inflation rate, आपने जो भी कमाया है उसका कोई बहुत बड़ा मीनिंग है नहीं. 25 साल पहले रहा होगा, आज उसका कोई मीनिंग नहीं. आपको लगता है 25 साल पहले का इंप्रेशन आप लेके चलते हो, वो बेबी उस दिन का कंपैरिजन करता है, उससे आप इंप्रेस ही नहीं कर सकते उस बच्चे को. या तो वो इंप्रेस हो रहा है तो दैट पर्सन डज नॉट हैव हिज ओन इंडिविजुअलिटी, looking at life in a different manner, and that's the biggest burden which you are going to put on your next generation. टेक्नोलॉजी जो है ये आपको तभी अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए जब वो आपके पर्पस को नेक्स्ट लेवल पे इमीडिएटली ले जाता है. मैंने ऐसे बहुत सारे टेक्नोलॉजी छोड़ दिए हैं जो चीजें जो है बहुत फैड लगता था. 50% ऑफ टाइम में आई वाज करेक्ट, 50% ऑफ टाइम में मैं गलत था. कभी कभार वो मुझे बूस्ट कर सकता था when I look back. However, it was a very conscious decision not to go for those technologies. So first thing is ऑनलाइन इंटरनेट वेबसाइट का इंपॉर्टेंस मुझे समझ में आ गया. फिर उसके बाद में मुझे समझ में आया कि आई कैन नॉट अट्रैक्ट गुड क्वालिटी पीपल. सो आई वांटेड टू एक्सेलरेट द मोमेंटम थ्रू अ टेक्नोलॉजी, जिससे कि जो वो लोग हैं उन लोगों का कैपेबिलिटी बढ़े. If that person is in 100% possibility of performance, I wanted to take it to 200%. There was a reason behind it. 200% with tools, technicalities, and other things. We went on cloud in 2010. Because of on cloud, there were a lot of things which we could explore and security-wise do things, which was very important during that time. We implemented Salesforce, which is world's best cloud service even today. In 2010, they were very new in India. I had equivalent products in India also, which is Zoho at that point in time. But I went for Salesforce, and I was very, very convinced that this technology is going to change the way we are going to work. And probably from the day we launched that till date, it was like a 200 kilometer speed mein bhagne ke saath. So this person has some natural capabilities, this employee, and we have to escalate or accelerate his efficiency to a 200%. The benefit of it is that you can pay 150% of salary to the client, to that employee. Okay? So he gets 50% more than the market rate, and you get 50% more than what you spend. So 100% में से 50% extra money goes to that employee, and this 50% goes to your organization. I think Pranav is here, and he can resonate with this. So इससे वो एम्प्लॉय लंबे समय के लिए आपके साथ रहता है, okay? और आप लंबे समय के लिए इनोवेशन कर सकते हो उस 50% के वजह से. So ये अगर आपका मोटिव है तो then that technology is going to work. Just because it is fashionable, it is new, it is something which you want to try out for, it doesn't happen for a longer period of time in business. So that was the second learning which I had. And probably other things we can do in this.
So, Bala, you mentioned you learned a lot of things during this course, like you learned your digital marketing, you probably also learned some sort of understanding of technology as well. So, would like to know more about your day-to-day habits that help you moving, and what are the good things you try to inculcate in yourself and as well as in the team culture as well.
I think you should not follow my routine because I don't want to give positive things, but the things which pulled me back from moving in the right direction, those are the very important things, learnings which you have to take. Never procrastinate. I have this habit of procrastination. That कोई चीज़ अगर मेरे पास आया तो probably मेरे team members मुझे बोलेंगे कि हमें तुरंत इस चीज़ को करना है. My co-founder, who happens to be my wife, she would say that you are thinking so much. Let's move on. ऐसा 75% टाइम में वो करेक्ट रहते हैं, because मैं बहुत सारी चीज़ों को सोचता हूँ unwanted, ये वो ऐसे वैसे, and I'm little bit of, my mind is not a logical mind, my mind is an artistic mind. So the color or design or style, इस चीज़ के ऊपर ज़्यादा ध्यान देता हूँ, because majority of people जो हमारे client और customers हैं, वो लोग शायद ऐसा सोचते हैं, देखते हैं, ऐसा मुझे लगता है, ऐसा होगा नहीं, पर मुझे लगता है कि उन लोगों को सिंपल रहेगा तो ज़्यादा अच्छा होगा. तो जब कोई आइडिया आता है कि वो रॉ फॉर्मेट में रहता है, उसको मुझे समझने में ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है rather than मेरे टीम को समझने में. तो इसमें जो मैं काम 2 दिन में कर सकता हूँ, उसको कम से कम मैं 10-15 दिन लेता हूँ. बट वो एंड में अच्छा आ जाता है, वो दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग. बट it's at a macro level. Micro level में you should get your things done in time. Don't move on to a next thing before you complete what is there on your plate. So probably I have learned this somehow. But the earlier stage of my career, I was prone to this kind of a bad habit. And second very important thing is that, which I have done well, is you should take care of your habits as far as your eating habits, your drinking habits and stuff. So, because entrepreneurship is not a very easy thing, it's not difficult also. It's a very beautiful journey basically. If you are in love, you have good marriage. If you are not in love, then it's just a living. The same way, if you have a purpose and mission and love for your organization and your business, then it's a beautiful journey. It's nothing difficult. अगर कोई बोलता है वो डिफिकल्ट है तो वो भी कुछ गलत बोल रहा है. अगर वो बोलता है कि बहुत इजी है तो वो भी आपको गलत बोल रहा है. It's a very different kind of an experience, and that only you can experience once you are in that process. So you need to keep your health moderately well. Do not work too much in nights. At least डे में आप कितना काम करना है उतना कर लो. शाम के टाइम पे आप प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ा रहे हो ऐसा अगर आपको लगता है तो 9:30-10 बजे के बाद ना काम करें. मैं 12 बजे चला काम किया हूँ, पर वो ऐसा कुछ उसमें से मिला नहीं मुझे. शुरुआत में मुझे लगता था कि बहुत ऐसा कुछ खास है. और टाइम पे खाना खाना चाहिए, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. स्मोकिंग और ड्रिंकिंग नहीं होना चाहिए, ये मैं बोलूँगा, बिकॉज मैं नहीं करता था ज़्यादा. मतलब मैं स्मोक तो कभी किया ही नहीं. ड्रिंक मेरे फैमिली को पता ही नहीं कि मैं करता हूँ. पर very rarely with my friends, 6 months, once in 6 months. It's an expression, nothing more than that. And मेरे लोगों को तो पता ही नहीं होगा, but they should also know this, and they're not going to disclose this to their juniors.
So, and the co-founder.
Co-founder is my friend, so she knows it. My family, who is like my family members, my parents does not know. So habits बहुत important है आपको. आप अगर मॉर्निंग का ब्रेकफास्ट अगर मिस कर रहे तो यू आर ऑन अ वेरी वेरी रॉन्ग ट्रैक. यू आर गोइंग टू फेल एज एन इंडिविजुअल. मैंने लास्ट वीक में जो है मेरे सारे एम्प्लॉइज का वो एक रूटीन निकाल कर जो है उनको डिजाइन करके दिया हुआ है कि आप दिन में कोई भी मील मिस करो. मील मिस नहीं करना चाहिए, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग, बट मॉर्निंग का ब्रेकफास्ट आप मिस ही नहीं कर सकते. अगर आपने किया तो आपका लाइफ जो है एक दिन में आके स्टैंड स्टिल हो जाएगा और आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा कि ये क्यों हुआ. सो दीज हैबिट्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. फॉर्चुनेटली आई कुड हैव दीज हैबिट्स अर्ली ऑन इन लाइफ. एंड फ्यू थिंग्स, प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन या बाकी चीजें जो है, ओवर थिंकिंग और बहुत सीरियस काइंड ऑफ लाइफ इज नॉट गुड फॉर हेल्थ. एंड आई फॉल ऑन अ रॉन्ग साइड ऑफ दैट. Even though I had enough opportunities to live a very nice, comfortable life, I chose to be very serious. I thought that that's the right way of doing it, but it's not the right way of doing it.
Okay, I think from here I will move towards the presentation because I want to leave enough time for allowing you to express on the presentation as well.